I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, Chris Lopez. He graduated from Midland with a degree in arts management. He's originally from Nashville, Nebraska, and is currently working on his master's in learning and talent development from Midland University. So, Chris, teach us about mentorship.
Hi, like Todd said, I'm Chris. Yes, I'm from Nashville, Nebraska, not Nashville, Tennessee. That's where a lot of people think I'm from when I say Nashville. So gotta reiterate it. Yeah, I graduated here with my bachelor's degree. I was involved in the arts very heavily as my time here. In fact, my current position here is underneath a mentor in the technical arts as his graduate assistant. So be talking a little bit about my personal life as a mentoree and explain why mentorship is just an important aspect of my life and why I think it's important to everyone that's looking to change their career paths. So to start, what is mentorship and why is it important for us? So mentorship helps individuals develop skills and knowledge. Like I said, personally in my life, when I became a GA, I had no real experience in the technical arts field, but it was something I was always interested in. And over the 2 years that I've been in this position, I've learned from my mentor, who's my boss, an immense amount in terms of different aspects of the technical arts, which is a field that I hope to eventually go into as a freelance designer. And it also allows individuals to learn under somewhat of knowledge. Again, my mentor is my current boss. He's taught me more than I can express. And I'll actually be talking a little more about that as we get into the next slide here. So with terms of mentorship in a specific area, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience in the technical arts. And first, for those of you that don't know, because I know technical arts is always overlooked in terms of the theater world, technical arts is just a subsection of the arts that deals with all the technologies and performances. So light designing, the sets that you're looking at, the sounds you're hearing, even the conductors of the music, all that is technically part of the technical arts. Being a mentor under my boss, his name is Jerry Ditter, he has had around 25 years of experience within the technical arts world. He owned his own theater company for about 5 years until he had to shut it down. He's got an incredible network connection that I've been asking him to kind of get me in contact with as well. And he's helped me open up a lot of doors in terms of that. He specifically allowed me to grow in various areas within the field. Scenic designing, in terms of that, I won an award for scenic design for one of our recent plays that happened here at Midland University by the Kennedy Center, which is a nationally recognized institution for theater. Light designing, I've light designed 4 or 5 shows here at Midland in my time, and I've never touched it before I became a GA. Same thing with sound design. I've sound designed 3 different shows in this school as well. And in carpentry, I've just learned how to build things, create plans in terms of how to teach students how to build projects that we're working on, as well as like purchasing lumber, what do I need, and everything like that. And like I said before, it's allowed a lot of doors to be open for me. A position that I was up for that just didn't work out because of a couple like contracting issues was being a scenic designer and lighting designer for a high school here in Nebraska, Wahoo. And that just fell through because of administrative things. They weren't looking to do any outside hiring at the time. So it's still a position that's out there for me. It's just not the right time or place for it. And then again, as I stated earlier, I was nationally recognized for scenic designing Almost Maine. That was here in Midland University. So all of that information, why does it matter to you that aren't specifically looking in the technical arts? That's a lot of information I kind of just threw out there. That's in my personal life. This information can be transferred into any field you're wanting to go into. When you're learning under someone of knowledge, they're going to teach you exactly what that field is, how it works, because they've had multiple years, if not decades of experience within that field. It's just your time to basically become a sponge for that knowledge and take it all in and just absorb it and turn it into your own thing. Kind of like Will is talking about making your own image, making your own brand. That's what you use your mentors for, is to get that knowledge in order to know, how do I market myself, or how do I become a standout person within this field? And through mentorship, you can learn more more than infinitely thought. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this in here. It doesn't make sense. So like for me personally, I've learned through the technical arts, I've learned about budgeting in terms of how to keep different budgets together, how to bookkeep all of our receipts for our purchases. I've helped teach classes, a couple different lessons in our technical arts class, whether that be through sound design or lighting design. I've taught multiple classes through that. Student relations, being in constant contact with students, making sure that they're staying healthy mentally and physically, making sure they're going to classes, doing all that relation in terms of that for my boss. Project management, I'm in charge of a lot of different projects that get put on, whether that be building something or just plain, we have a massive event that's going on, I need to plan it, so event planning as well. And then communications with like people that are above me, including my mentor, but also my boss's boss, if that makes sense. So just talking to the chain of command in a respectful way, is to not sound like condescending or anything like that. And then mentorship in any field can open doors for you. As I stated before, I've had a couple opportunities opened up for me in terms of technical arts. I'm looking to open my own doors as well. My mentor has a connection in Hollywood, actually, technically. Her name is Amber Ruffett. He used to direct her in when he did his theater company, and she is the host of a show on Peacock called The Amber Ruffett Show. And he still keeps in contact with her pretty regularly. He's actually trying to get her to come and speak at Midland at some point, but just isn't really working out very well because of networking and all that stuff with TV. But it's a connection that he has, and I'm hoping to eventually try to work my way and try to get as well. And mentorship leading into networking. This was already talked about before. Networking from your mentors is something that I believe is really important. Gaining that web of knowledge from not only your mentor, but through the people that they know, it essentially creates a community like potluck of information and people that you can work from. Again, my personal experiences, my mentor is someone I can now network with. And I have access to everyone that he has networked with if he just chooses to let me have that information. He's already agreed to give me letters of recommendations. So that's caused me to have a letter of recommendation that's a really, really good one. And it can allow you to grow your career through networking as well as mentorship. So again, using your mentor to gain some footing in the field. He's had 25 years experience within the technical arts field, technical directing at different universities. It's allowing me to see how that works and really like take on the reins of how do I go about wanting this job if I want it in the future. And then one of the final points I have here is finding the right fit. How do you find the right mentor for you? So the first step is obviously determine your goals. What do you want to gain out of a mentorship? What do you really want from it? For me, it started out with, I just want to be a GA so I can get my master's degree. But it's turned into more of like, I want to become a technical director for a university at some point in my life because I have such a passion for teaching and I have a passion for this world of theatricals that I can't see my life without it. And that's what it's turned into now for the next 2 years. You also want to look within your network. If you already know some people that are in a field that you're wanting to go into, talk to them. It was discussed earlier, offer to buy them a coffee and hear about their life, and then ask them during that time, like, hey, I see that you've got this much years of experience in this program and they're in this field. I'd like to work under you if you're looking to have any interns or mentors or stuff like that. You're going to also want to attend field events. This is probably isn't the right word, but conventions or just like events in direct connection to your field. For an example, in personal life, the KCATF, which is the Kennedy Center for the Arts, that's stationed out in New York. They have events all over the nation. Recently, one happened in Iowa back in fall. And it's a great way to get networking from directors, other technical directors, and just people that have a big name and a big footing in this industry to get your name out in there as well. And just search online. We live in a new age of technology and the ability to just go onto Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, to just message someone and say, hey, I see you do this. I'd love to learn from you. That's not going to work most of the time, but it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to just get your voice out there and get your name in their DMs or get your name in their inboxes, just to put yourself out there. And the final thing I want to point out is just be specific and clear. You have to know what you want. And that kind of goes back to determining your goals. You have to know exactly what you want, and you have to know how to communicate it with the mentor that you're looking to work under. If you go in there very unsure of yourself and kind of timid, 9 times out of 10, someone's not going to want to take you on. At least I've learned that from my personal experience, because growing up, I never really had a mentor until I got to college. And that's just, it was experience I never got. But now that I've had it and I get it, I'm hoping to use it in my future career outlets in order to help other students realize how beneficial having a mentor is and how to get them to expand their career options. And I think that's it for me, unless we have any questions.
Yes, I have a question. So
Yes.
thinking about your kind of the mentorship that you've had in terms of who you have had mentoring you, how has that, and this can be for whoever, how has that influenced how you mentor others, or how you might approach mentoring others if the opportunity were to ever? Because I know you mentioned you worked with, you're in GA too, so you work with students a little bit and direct them, and obviously that's not necessarily a mentorship, but those relationships you build can be very impactful, obviously on you, the one you had, right? So kind of how has that impacted how you would approach being a mentor, I guess, instead of a mentee?
That's a really good question. So I didn't really have that aspect of a mentorship growing up. Just the way I was raised, I didn't get it. So coming here and having the mentorship of my boss or just the other directors here at the Arts, it showed me that you can be, I don't want to say friends, but acquaintances with the people that you're trying to lead and you're trying to take into a new world or a new field, while still having that hard, like if you have to, like that kind of hammer to push down on them. So the way I look at mentoring now is I just be a voice of compassion to them. I actually have a mentor, like I've helped mentor, I don't know if this is exactly what you're going for, like my little cousins. I've helped raise them since they were born. I've been a big influence on their lives ever since they were born. And so I mentor my little cousin. He's 13, he's 12 now. He's been through so much in his life that I've just been trying to help set him on the right path and give him a good role model to look up to. Hey, your cousin's going to college. He's graduating. He's getting a master's degree. This is what you can do with your life if you just keep going with what you're doing. Even though it's hard now, you can do what I'm doing. And you can just build off of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Thanks.
Yeah, that's great. And I liked what you said, about the being specific and clear in what you're asking for. And, we talked about earlier the informational interviews. And if I can go into an informational interview and then say, would you mind spending more time with me over the next 6 months to teach me these specific things? I think that is so much more useful than going in and saying, will you meet with me once a month without any real clear direction of what that means. And, when students have come to me and asked me to mentor them, I always want to know what they want out of it. And, how long is this going to last in your mind? And what do you want to come away with?
Yeah. And I've had students that have come up to me that they haven't necessarily asked me to mentor, but they've asked me for a lot of advice, because I've been at this university for 6 years. I know how the art specifically runs. I know how it works.
Yep.
And so they ask advices for like, hey, how do I prepare for an audition? I've got this part I really want. What should I do? And so that's me just telling them my experience from auditioning for shows here in Midland. And I think Will can attest to this as well. It's just, you pick what fits you comfortably, what fits the character. And a lot of them have just been like, thank you, I didn't get the part I wanted, but you really helped me and you've really showed me how I can actually do this.
Yeah, that's interesting to think too about like the different levels of mentorship, right? Like you're like, I'm not necessarily their mentor, but I still like guide and help and,
Mhm.
advise. Also gets me thinking about like the concept of, sorry, maybe this is a rabbit hole, but the concept of like finding a mentor versus mentors that like not are forced, but like, right? Like, so when you're an undergrad
Yeah.
student, right, you have an advisor. It's not like they're not a mentor, but you might also go out and seek your own mentors that are more catered
Yeah.
to well, you're interested in
Mhm.
things like that. So just thinking about the various levels and intensities of mentorship, there's a lot of interesting stuff there. So it was interesting to hear a little bit
Yeah.
more about kind of your
Yeah.
experiences and mentorship more generally.
Yeah.
I find it funny how I don't even know when the switch happened from being a student to being like that one that people go to ask questions for. Like just yesterday I had a freshman come up to me and said, "Hey Will, like I got offered to sing be a like a bar singer for the summer. What kind of music should I do?" And I was like, and he's like coming up to me several times asking me to like monologue workshop or like song workshop and just like asking me for like life advice. And I'm like, I'm 24. I haven't had much of a life, but like
You're the older,
I can
wiser.
give you some like tools that you need. So like I see what Chris is saying here, and it's just a fun perspective to see when and how I shifted from undergrad to grad school and like grad assistant.
Well, right,
Yeah.
and maybe you're in their network of mentors, right? So like you're someone that they can maybe ask, those types of things that they maybe, the experience of their instructors might not have. So again,
Mhm.
going back to the network of mentors and all the various levels of experience.
And it's something I hope to use in my new job that I'm going into with working with AmeriCorps College Possible, giving those kids someone who lived their life. I grew up in a not very I didn't grow up very wealthy. I didn't have a mom or a dad. I had my grandparents that raised me. A lot of these kids have went through that and they think it's not possible for me to go to college. I shouldn't just do it. I was told for years through my entire high school career, I didn't deserve to go to college. I wasn't going to make it. I just deserved to be a blue collar worker. And that's all I got in my life. But I went to college to prove them wrong. And I got a master's degree to prove them wrong. And I want to be that voice to these kids that doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter what color your skin is, you could do whatever you want. You just have to be able to do it. And I want to be that voice for them to just see that and they see an image of someone like, wow, that's me. I can see myself going to go to college. I could see myself going to get a master's degree.
Yeah. Well done, Chris.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. Great food for thought and very helpful. Appreciate it.
Thank you.